Whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. The Jazz Age composer George Gershwin said skyscrapers are a triumph of the machine and a tremendous emotional experience. They stretch our imaginations, they're a statement of ambition, like the U.S. Steel building there, and they stand for strength and stability. And especially my favorite parts are the tops. And even when the builders of the Philadelphia City Hall fell short of their mark of trying to make the tallest skyscraper in the world, it still took almost a century for anyone in Philadelphia to be brave enough to make something taller than the hat of William Penn on top of City Hall. Ever since skyscrapers started sprouting in our cities, architects have wanted to draw our attention to the top to appreciate their work, like these two newspaper skyscrapers from the 19th century, one in San Francisco, the other in New York City. Back then, they did it with domes. And here in Pittsburgh, a newspaper publisher named Tom Keenan slapped a dome on top of his skyscraper on Liberty Avenue. And when I do my tours, I always love to bring the groups there on top of the next door neighbor so they can see that dome up close. And if you'd like to see it, I'm giving tours this month, and there's a paper in back you can scan to see. I'm always inspired by how architects in Pittsburgh really gussied up the tops of their buildings, like the Era or the Park building, with these things that make you look, no matter how bad the pollution is, no matter how far they are from the sidewalk, you're gonna peer up and appreciate their creation. On top of the Union Trust building, there are these two beautiful structures that look like chapels, but really they're just fancy covers for the elevator machinery. Back then, architecture was going through its goth period, as you can see with the Woolworth building there from New York, which was then the tallest skyscraper 120 years ago in the world. Now, speaking of ancient history, I was a tiny kid when they closed the public observation deck on top of the Gulf building, but what a view from there. Can you imagine it on fireworks night? Now the only pyrotechnics on the Gulf building are the lights up there on the stone, turning it every night into a rainbow. Still popular is the top of the Empire State Building, even though that observation deck never reached its goal of being a dirigible docking post. Frankly, that never got off the ground. Sorry, everybody. But can you imagine getting out of a Zeppelin a quarter mile above the sidewalk? Actually, what a lot of those old skyscrapers did have was beacons on top to aid aviators in their navigating at night. And this one says that from 50 miles away, a pilot would be able to read a newspaper from that light. We thought texting and driving is dangerous. That's me with Chris Haitha on top of a Chicago skyscraper. He's an artist that I'm working with to have created something called the High Rises Collection, which is 200 great antique skyscrapers across America, art and history. It's online, but he's also going to be here for the end of Architecture Week on Friday. And the cards in the back will tell you more if you come join us. We're opening a gallery here in Pittsburgh, and there will be art like this one from Rochester, New York. The architect who built this Art Deco skyscraper said he was inspired by seashells. And you can imagine with those winters in Rochester, New York, they didn't mind being reminded of a beach vacation. Here's another one in another Rochester, Minnesota. So different state, same frigid temperatures. That's the Mayo Clinic. And while from the sidewalk you can see those giant griffins, it takes Chris's drone work to show you the team of terracotta nurses up there along the top, looking out over the prairie. This strange figure is on top of the Lexington Avenue, New York skyscraper that was built for RCA and its radio network, NBC. But the Radio Corporation of America wanted a building with the spirit of radio on top, though they never actually moved there. They instead took up their offices in a place called Radio City. But speaking of spiritual skyscraper tops, this, unlike the Union Trust, is a skyscraper that actually does have a chapel on top. It's called the Chicago Temple. It's across from the Cook County office building. And if you look closely there at the altar, you'll see that it's Jesus himself in the clouds looking down at the skyscrapers of Chicago. And in fact, in the distance, you can see the Palmolive building with its beacon and a plane flying overhead, though if that pilot is using the light to read a newspaper, Lord help him. I'm terribly sorry. You know, not every skyscraper is worth putting on your to-do list. This one is by Henry Hornbostel, a Pittsburgh architect. It's the first City Hall skyscraper, and it's in Oakland, California. And those tiny slits on the top are windows for the jail cells. Luckily, they left the door unlocked when I visited. You know, in New York City now, on the edge, at Hudson Yards, you can actually go out on a diving board observation deck. And if you're really brave, you can strap in there and lean out over the edge of the edge. I haven't done it yet, but they're bringing it here to Pittsburgh, I hear, for the U.S. Steel building in a couple years. So who would do that? Of course, of the 100 tallest skyscrapers in America, or in the world rather, only 15 are in America. More of them are actually in the Middle East, like Dubai there on the left, where you can see the world's tallest skyscraper, or Saudi Arabia has a pretty good skyscraper game. That's a hotel for pilgrims to Mecca. But it's China that has more skyscrapers than any country in the world now. They have more than half of the top 100. This isn't even in the top 20, but it's my favorite. It's modeled after a bamboo shoot. It's in Shenzhen. And if you go on the top of it and look up, that's the view that you get. But really, skyscrapers don't have to be brand new for us to admire them. I mean, those old classic skyscrapers still, like Gershwin said, are a tremendous emotional experience. I mean, just ask Adam Driver there, who is now in Megalopolis standing on the ledge of the Chrysler building. Well, thank you, Francis Ford Coppola, for this new movie. And thank you all for coming. And keep looking up.